Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen. I was told this morning that somebody had dropped out. So I said to Nindy, if you need someone to come in and do a talk at the last minute, I'll come and do another talk for you. But it appears that somebody hasn't dropped out, so you're getting an extra talk for your money. And so what I wanted to... very loud cough. What I wanted to just show you was a little trading system that I have. I've been writing about... financial markets for some, 10 or 15 years, and I've looked at so many different systems of investing, and you have to find a system of investing that suits your own mentality. And some people are great fundamental analysts. They'll value a company and they'll decide that this company, for whatever reason, is seriously undervalued, and so they'll buy that company and they'll wait for the market to come to good sense and give that company its fair valuation, at which point they've made a great deal of money. And that's, a sort of fundamental analysis. And other people, might invest based on, political events or something like that. But I've found, of all the different ways there are of investing, the most effective by far is simply trend following. That is, you find a bull market and you go long, or you find a bear market and you go short. And I'm going to show you a little trend following system now that will not guarantee that you pick the top or the bottom of any market, but it will keep you long in a bull market or short in a bear market and make sure that you catch 80% of the move. And bizarrely, of all the different assets that I look at, I've found that this system works best with Bitcoin. Because Bitcoin, as we all know, is a highly volatile asset, but it's prone to long periods of bull market and long periods of bear market. And, HODL, which we all love, the ticker symbol of my company, Cypherpunk Holdings, by the way, is HODL. But HODL works, it is the best system in a bull market, but unfortunately, HODL in a bear market is terrible. You don't want to be long in a bear market. And so this hopefully works better than HODL. And so I'm just going to keep it very basic. This will be basic to some of you and it will be new to some others. So you just take a simple chart. You find a piece of charting software. Some people use TradingView. I use a company called Stock Charts. And here's just a simple chart of the S&P between 2009 and 2015. And then you plot on that chart, and it's a weekly chart. So every black line you see on that chart, every vertical black line is a week. And you plot on that chart two moving averages, the 21 and the 6-week exponential moving averages. Now, let me just explain what a moving average is. If you, say, had a 20-week moving average, that would show you the average price of the last 20 weeks. So we have the 20, and that would be a simple moving average. The exponential moving average just gives a little bit more weight to the recent time frame. So the blue line, how do I do a point here? The blue line, ladies and gentlemen, is the 21-week moving average, and the red line is your 6-week moving average. And you want to be long, you are on a buy signal when the red line is above the blue line and the price is above the red line. That is when you would call that a golden alignment. And you want to be on a sell signal when it's the other way around. Now, this was a huge bull market. And your buy signal and your sell signal are simply when the red line crosses up through the blue line. And your sell signal is when the red line crosses down through the blue line. Now, the beauty of this, what are we here? This is the S&P but from 2012. So let me just establish. So those are the rules. You use a 9. That should be a 6 and a 21. You can use 9, but I've used 6 in these charts, but I've written 9 there, but it's actually the 6. Trust me, it's the 6 and the 21-day exponential moving averages. And your buy signal is when those moving averages are flat or sloping up. The 6-week is above the 21 and the price is above. And the sell signal is simply vice versa. So let's look at some examples. So here, this is the S&P between 2010 and 2016. And you can see there was a cross here. So the blue line crossed up and you got your buy signal back in, when was it, 2010. And you stayed long the whole time until you got your sell signal here in whatever it was, 2015. So you rode that whole bull market. And then you got your sell signal here. This was an event called the taper tantrum in late 2016, in late 2015. And then you got two false signals. You got a buy signal and a sell signal and a buy signal. That market was going nowhere. It was range bound, and the system does not work in a range bound market. But then you got another buy signal here in 2016. I'm sorry this is so vague. And you were long again for 3 years, right through until the end of 2016. Let me show you now. Here's another example. Here we've got the pound from this is the pound against the dollar, which is called, commonly known as cable. Does anyone know why? Because the signal, the pound-dollar exchange rate, was first transmitted from London to New York via the undersea transatlantic cable, and it's been known as cable ever since. But this is the pound in 2014, before we started talking about such stupid things as Brexit, and the pound was $1.70 at the time. We got our sell signal, and we rode it down. We got a little buy signal when the pound had a rally, and then we got another sell signal, and we were short the whole time, all the way through Brexit, and then we got another buy signal here in 2017. So it's a lovely little system. 6-day and 21-day moving average. And as I say, it works best in a trending market. In flat and range trading markets, it'll lose your money. But it'll make sure that you catch 80 to 90% of a trend. Now, here we have Bitcoin. Here is a logarithmic chart of Bitcoin. You can see, we've got the 6-day moving average in red, and we've got the 21-week moving average in blue. And in 2015, October, probably November 2015, we got our buy signal with Bitcoin at, would have been about $300 or $400. What about that for a buy signal? And you rode that from $300 or $400, $500, whatever it was in November 2015, and it kept you long right until, there's our sell signal there, and that would have been in the spring of 2018, and that would have been, sell signal would have been at about $9,000. So you missed from $10,000 to $20,000, but given where you got into this bull market, that was an extraordinary run. Then we got the sell signal, and then we got a buy signal again in the spring of January of this year, February of this year, buy signal at $5,000. And we've just had another sell signal. I'm sorry to inform you, ladies and gents, here we are at 8,000, but you made 3,000 on that trade. This is Bitcoin all the way back to 2011. And you can see we got the buy signal there in the spring of 2012 with Bitcoin. God knows how cheap that was, $1 or something like that. But you rode it all the way up. You made over almost 1,000 times your money. How about that? And then you got the sell signal. So you missed that last bit there, but you got the sell signal, false buy signal there, and then again, you were out of the market, and then you're back in again. Spring of 2015, that was the buy signal. That buy signal there is the same as that buy signal there. So it just works fantastically with Bitcoin. Now, if you want to be clever, you can do a thing where if the price gets, say, 100% above its 20-week moving average or something like that, you can take that as and that way you can attempt to trade the spikes. But that simple moving average will keep you in the bull market and out in the bear market. And so I thought we'd just take a look at some charts of some various companies of assets around the world, where we are at the moment. This is the S&P, so you can see, sorry. So we got the S&P here, we got our buy signal in February of this year, and despite all the volatility, we're still long. There was a sell signal there, we got there, and so we missed that spike down, or you were short for that spike down. There's the buy. So S&P currently on a buy signal. Here's crude oil, sell signal earlier this year, currently on a sell signal. Oil's stuck in a range, so it's just not working well at the moment. There hasn't been a proper bull or a bear market in oil. Here's gold. We got our buy signal in November of last year, and that would have been at 1,200, just 1,250 maybe, something like that, 1,250. We've got a nice little bull market up there, and it looks like we're shaping up for a sell signal, but we haven't had the sell signal yet. And here's the pound over the last year, and you can see, well and truly on a sell signal. Had a little buy signal here, didn't work, didn't trend, the market didn't go anywhere, so we were back out again. We've been short, and then it looks like they're talking that they might finally have resolved a Brexit deal, and the pound spiked, and it looks like that red line is about to cross up through the blue line, and we're about to get our buy signal on the pound, but we'll see. But I mean, we all know how undervalued the pound is on a purchasing power parity basis at the moment. It's just political, the reason that it's been so awful. And by the way, I thought I'd just show you this little cycle I've observed in the pound. And nobody else seems to have observed it, so I've called the cycle Frisby's flux to try and get some publicity out of it. But every 8 years, I don't quite know why this is, but every 8 years, the pound seems to crash. And we go all the way back to 1976. Dennis Healey, in the inflation of the 1970s, Dennis Healey had to go with his cap in hand. Dennis Healey was the Chancellor, and he had to go to the IMF to beg for money. And then the pound had, a good period after that. And then we got another low, 1984, this was the miners' strike in Great Britain. We had another low, and then coming off that low, the pound did all right, and then we had another crash. This was Black Wednesday in 1992, when George Soros famously shorted the pound, made a fortune shorting the pound, but we got another low. 10 years later, we got another low in the pound shortly after the dot-com crash. 2008, financial crisis, and there we go, 2016. There was a thing called the flash crash in the pound that came shortly after Theresa May, the Prime Minister, gave her conference speech, and the pound went below 120. And we've retested that, but for some bizarre reason, there seems to be this 8-year cycle in the pound. And, it doesn't really matter whether you think Brexit's good or bad, but the pound's due a rally, so I think, that's probably quite a good trade. And here, what have we got here? Oh, this is the euro against the US dollar. Again, we got the sell signal in May of 2018. No, it would have been April 2018, and it's just been in a long decline. False buy signal, sell signal, we go back short again. But again, it looks like the euro might be turning up against the dollar, but who knows? What's that? Bitcoin, yes, of course. So this is, I thought I recognized it. And so this is Bitcoin just over the last year. I've shown you a longer-term version of that chart. And there's the sell signal, came in March, April. And there was the buy signal earlier this year. I said in February earlier on, but actually it was in May and at around $5,000, maybe just above. And there we've just had the sell signal now. So, Bitcoin looks like, is that Bitcoin? No, it's not. That is, I know what this is. I was looking at the altcoins. That is Ethereum. And it trades in a similar direction. But so Ethereum, now, so there's your sell signal. We had a buy signal in Ethereum. So the buy signal in Ethereum came later. I find Ethereum tends to follow Bitcoin. And there's the buy signal in Ethereum, but it was a lawful one. And we got the sell signal in Ethereum in August of this year. And you do not want to be long Ethereum at the moment. It's in a bear market. And that confirms everything that Tone was saying earlier on about it being a shitcoin. And this is Monero. And I sort of rather like Monero. I have a sort of great fondness for Monero, but nevertheless, it had a sell signal at around about $70, $80, and it's in another bear market. Monero's on a sell signal. So there you go. That is my trading system. I expect you all to be gazillionaires by this time next year. And I think that's it. Is that it? Yep, that is it. Thank you very much, and I hope you.